Hi, I'm Kinkas and I'm a synth DIY guy. Welcome to today's video. I have here in front of me the Witch that I built from Rebel Technology and Befaco. Like the Lich before it, the Witch also uses the Owl board from Rebel Technology, and therefore it's completely programmable. It's meant to be an MPE compatible portable desktop synthesizer with a USB host, so you can connect your MPE or whatever controller you like to use directly to it, and it gets powered. Right now it's powering my instrument. I'm powering the Witch itself from its dedicated DC connector here. The output is a stereo mini jack, which I'm sending to my audio interface. It's the second Owl product after Rebel Technology and Befaco came together. The first one is the Lich. I've made videos of the Lich as well. It is completely programmable. You can create your own patches for it. You can devise whatever you want it to be it a synthesizer, a modulation source, even an effects processor. If you can program pure data, I think also Max and a few other things, check the manual for the different platforms that you can program on, and you can create your own thing. And eventually, I'm sure there will be a growing library of different patches for the Witch. So it's a very versatile device. It won't necessarily only be what it is when you first get it. But when you do first get it, it's simple. It's just a polyphonic synthesizer with 4 basic patches in 2 versions each. One being an MPE version and another being a non-MPE polyphonic version. I am using an instrument which is an MPE instrument. We're only gonna check out the MPE versions of the 4 patches. To switch patches, we have the middle button over here and then the 4 buttons on the bottom. So I hold the middle button and I press number 1 here. If it's red, that is patch number 1, right? If it's orange, that is patch number 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 reds, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 orange. And the orange ones are the MPE versions of the 4 patches. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are MPE. Right now we're on 5. Subtract. This is the oscillator frequency. This is the filter cutoff. C is the filter resonance. D is the envelope, and this is a single knob ADSR, so it goes from slow attack with fast release through both fast here. Here's fast attack with slow release, and here's slow attack and slow release. And this is the overdrive. You can really hear it when you add more than one note, like on a guitar. Very nice. If you don't have a controller connected and you just want to hear a sound, you can always press the button number 1 here. It's a good way to test if the widget itself is working. Number 2 is a tap LFO. See, when I tap it, it grabs my rhythm here. I can patch that LFO to one of the parameters via CV input right here. Right? Or it can be now here we have tap LFO 2, right? We can connect that to yet another parameter here, maybe the resonance. Nice. Of course, you can use external modulation sources that you might have in your Eurorack gear for that as well, to modulate any of these parameters. All of these 4 knobs over here, A, B, C, and D, have dedicated CV inputs. And the buttons have trigger inputs. So you can also send a clock to one of these tap LFOs, and you synchronize the which LFOs to whatever else you have going on. Very cool. And the 4th button is sustain. It can work like a hold, right? So if I push it, it'll now sustain that note. And I can build a chord like that, and then just tweak some knobs. Or change some LFO speeds. There's a 3/2 polyrhythm kind of there. Yeah, the envelope won't affect because it's just held in the sustain stage. Super cool. Let go of the sustain, and they stop. There you go. What a fun synth. So this was the first MPE preset, or expressive preset. Let's try the second one. We are now on patch number 6, right? And this one is the vocal simulator, or Evosim. let's get those LFOs out for a second. Okay. Here what we have is the pitch again on knob 1. Knob 2 is the formant low parameter. Super nice. And number 3, or pot C, is formant high. So already this sounds kind of like a Mongolian throat singer, right? And these are also mapped to the Y and Z axes of my controller. See? I roll my finger up and down, we're getting one of those. And then I push in, we're getting the other. So this is pressure right now is the low formant. Y-axis is the high formant. And the beauty of MPE is that I can modulate them individually. Each note I play occupies a separate MIDI channel and separate pressure, Y-axis, and pitch bend information. Right? And again, this knob D here is the envelope generator, right? In a low octave, this sounds pretty awesome. Oh, and by the way, velocity affects loudness, right? I don't like using velocity on the instrument because I feel it ends up being finger dependent. Some of my fingers are stronger than others on this surface. It's not quite like a piano. So I don't usually use velocity. I leave it on fixed here, but you can see that it does work. So here's a very soft note. Here's a very loud note. Here's an even louder note. Kind of cool actually if I use like just two fingers like a drummer, like if they were drumsticks. Then it's more consistent and I can use velocity that way. Well, let's go back to how I like it with the fixed velocity. So again, the fourth knob, D here, knob D is the envelope, right? And then this one is a phaser. Super nice. Let's bring down some of these formants. Very cool. All right. And again, we have these clocks here that are tappable. And these two bottom outputs here, they're just clock outputs that reflect the exact same thing that's happening on the LED here, while the two outputs on the top, F and G, are LFO outputs. And again, assign these LFOs to parameters. Super cool. I kind of like this way of performing where I'm tapping LFO speeds, and because I can do sort of polyrhythmic things with my two fingers, like 3/2 here. And by the way, you can access a lot of stuff via CC control values too. So I could use the instrument, I could use part of it as CC faders, which is something that you can set up, and assign the CC numbers respective to different parameters. So for example, you can have individual control over attack, decay, sustain, release on the envelope here, and other things as well. There's a whole list in the manual of all the stuff you can control. Sending MIDI continuous controller information. This is nice. It's like almost the same rhythm, but it starts phasing out. Remember, my vertical movement and pressure are still effective as well. They're getting added to those LFOs, as well as the knob position. Little phaser there. Alright, let's pull those LFOs out. And again, the fourth button is sustain. And yeah, this algorithm, the Evosim, is based on a paper by Hordijk, Mr. Hordijk, who is the designer of the famous Benjalin, as well as the Blippo box and other amazing things. So Martin from Rebel Tech is inspired by that paper and created this algorithm here. I really love it. Very fun for exploring drones as well. Like, I'm not even playing it right now, I'm just holding some notes, and it's already a lot of fun. So nice. Here's the phaser. Oh, look, the LFOs are... This LFO right here is normal to the phaser. Very cool. This one is not. By the way, you have stereo audio input here. This is a TRS jack. And on the left side, you can send this synthesizer linear FM, and the right is audio through, so you can feed an audio signal through this. Very cool. That's the Evosim. Let's change the patch now. Let's go over to patch number 567, yellow number 3, right? And this is Wavetable. So this one is called Wavebank. So again, we have pitch here. this number 2 is morph X. X-axis morphing of wavetables. And this is Y-axis wavetable morphing. Pot D is again envelope generator. And E, the middle one, is the delay. And again we have the LFOs and clocks available. And again we have my X-axis movements here controlling one of the morphing parameters and my pressure affecting the other. Sustain there. Very nice, very smooth morphing. Super cool. And the next one and final one is the sample player. This one, let's have a look here at the manual. It's called Quad Sampler, and it's 4 voice sampler. A gives you frequency again. B gives you a filter center frequency. C gives you a filter peak. And D is the decay envelope. Right. E is the LFO rate. It's very cool. Oh, and here we have the 4 samples. Filter peak, filter frequency. There we go. And the decay envelope. This is cool to play with just the all by itself. So let me just do a performance here, kind of abstract performance using this very strange quad sampler patch. Very fun. Oh, down here where the pitches are super low, it gets very lo-fi. Let's go up where they high. Cool. Oh, cool. This is like a stereo thing. The more to the left, the more like a ping pong stereo thing it does. A few octaves lower. So it's just 4 samples, but since you're playing them in different pitches, they sound like different sounds. And by the way, these samples can be replaced by the user, so that's cool. So that's it. I just wanted to go through some of these presets and see some of these controls. Obviously, I need to go much deeper into this, maybe assign some CC controls to internal parameters that are not immediately available, patch things into it from the modular, there, load my own samples, and maybe even program my own synthesizer with this thing because it's completely open architecture. These are just what come from the factory, and they're already a lot of fun, very musical, very useful patches. Even this crazy thing, I can easily think of places to use it in. So that's it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the Witch. I'll see you soon, and stay noisy.